I found out that my girlfriend of 9 years is having an emotional affair and I am having trouble accepting our relationship might be over. It's 5:30 right now. I have been up all night. I am shaking and I can't sleep. Just called in sick to work. My 24 male girlfriend, 24 female, has been acting different than usual lately and coming home a bit later than usual from work. I'm on a really tight schedule right now with work and school that I only get like an hour together every night before I have to go to bed. So I noticed this and saw her behavior change to a more depressed and aiming type of state. I tried bringing it up with her, but was always dismissed, saying that it was nothing. I always knew there was something up, but I could never get her to open up to me, and it secretly killed me inside. Fast forward to tonight, I am doing a late night grocery run and notice her car parked outside a random street. I was like, what the fuck? So I pulled over and saw a co-worker of hers hop out. A co-worker that we have had a problem with in the past. He told her that he liked her, but she told me she stopped talking to him. This was a few months ago. She immediately took off and I called her right away to ask where she was. And of course, she lied to me. I followed her back to our apartment and immediately confronted her for cheating on me and lying about where she was. She didn't even look that upset at first. All she kept saying was, I didn't cheat on you, we are just friends bullshit. After explaining how broken-hearted I am to find out she is most probably cheating on me and going behind my back and lying to me about hanging out with someone we had an issue with before, she started to bawl and realized our relationship is probably over. She insists they are only friends but has feelings for him and that she is very lonely and depressed because we both moved to a new city and don't know anyone and that I have been stressed out a lot and not myself and I am the only one she spends time with outside of work. When I asked her if she even wanted to continue our relationship, she looked blankly into the abyss with a long pause before saying, she doesn't know what she wants and she doesn't know if she's happy in a relationship. Hearing this utterly broke me, like a million shards of razor sharp glasses piercing my heart at a million miles an hour. I don't know what to do with myself. I have loved this girl deeply since we started dating in 10th grade, and even though we went through ups and downs, we have persevered through so much and accomplished a lot together. I feel so blindsided, betrayed, and just hurt beyond ways that I know how to communicate. I am having severe trouble in accepting that things are probably over. I have no trust anymore for her and frankly don't believe anything she says even though I love her. It's mentally tearing me apart. I cannot be with someone that I cannot trust or communicate with, but I cannot imagine my life without her. I don't have friends or much family to talk to, and the thought of me dealing with all of these issues alone brings me to a very dark place in my mind. I know I should leave, but I don't think I am brave enough to do it or if I even want it, but I deserve better than how I'm being treated by her. We said we are going to try to work through these issues and give each other time to think before coming to a decision. She is currently sleeping in bed next to me, and I cannot help but sit here and cry with my dark thoughts while writing this. A disclaimer first, it is always the fault of the cheater. If you are with someone and you do not communicate, you are having these needs in your relationship, and instead of talking, you decide to go behind your partner's back and finding what you need, that's absolutely wrong. When you're in a relationship, the first thing that you need to do when you're faced with a problem, when you're faced that with a situation that there's this need that you have that it's not being fulfilled or met, you need to go to your partner and talk about it. With that said, it's pretty clear to me that what is happening here is a communication problem. So let me explain myself before you question what I am saying. What I am saying is that these two took a decision and moved to a new city. In this new city, she didn't know anyone except her boyfriend. And what happened with the only person that she knew in that city? He was always busy. And obviously, we need to consider his point of view. It's very unfair that he is working and studying at the same time and he is facing all this stress. And instead of understanding where he's standing at that point in time, she went around to another guy. Sure, I get that, and I will return to that point later. But for now, let me go back to her. So she is faced with this new loneliness, right? And she met someone that starts giving her this attention that she so desperately needs. So what happened with this woman and her coworker? So I can imagine that they do spend a lot of time together. They began talking and laughing and sharing opinions and likings, and they began to find out that they have a lot in common. And little by little, the more like further away that she grew from her boyfriend, she started getting closer to this new coworker, because in reality she is seeing her boyfriend an hour a day, and she is seeing her coworker 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours even. I don't know the schedule of this person, but sometimes when you have a serious job, there's days when you stay beyond like your 8-hour shift. And believe it or not, this happens a lot to a lot of couples. They start finding these new routines and they get unsynchronized. Why does this happen? Well, when you are with someone for so long as your partner, you will start facing these new changes. You will go through many stages of your life together. And even if just before that point you were able to overcome every single obstacle and new stage, and you have been able to make it work no matter what, it can happen that you can be faced with a new stage in life that will change, the rhythm of your life, how much time you have, like how much time do you have for yourself, how much time do you have for your partner, for your hobbies, etc. So in this case, right, like these two people, one of them fell into this new rhythm where there's no longer time for them to spend together. And what happens is that this person can no longer give like the 50 that they need to give to make the relationship work. So it falls down. And in this case, like 1 hour a day, like from being at 50, what he's doing for the relationship went down to 10%. And so she was faced with this big emptiness. And sadly, that gave space to this new person to come in into her life and start giving her what she is missing. Now, I'm not blaming the guy at all. I am just explaining that life can be very complicated and sometimes you fell out of rhythm with the person that you love, no matter how many years you have been together. And this is where the real challenges in a relationship start. Like this, I think that this might have been the first real challenge this couple has ever faced. Again, because what she needed to do was to go to him and tell him, I'm feeling very alone. I'm not liking this. I don't know what can we do for me not to feel this alone, or to feel this isolated from everyone, because that's what I'm feeling and we need to work this out because this will end up badly. That's what she needed to do and she didn't do it, and now they were in this situation. This guy says that he is afraid to be alone, and I wish that he would face being alone, because I think that when you are too afraid of being alone, it's when you need to be alone, because clearly you need to learn to be your own independent person. So, what happens next? Well, in this story, the guy said that they have decided to try to make things work again. However, and this is a big however, because this is the main problem with couples when someone cheats on the relationship. He is not only utterly heartbroken, but he feels like he can no longer trust her, but he feels like he cannot be alone. Do I believe that you can make things work out after cheating? Personally, I don't. Personally, if someone cheats, it doesn't matter how alone or hurt I am, I'll leave. But in the case like them, that they decided that they want to give it another try, I do think that yes, they can work it out. But it depends if they can really let go. He needs to really think if he will be able to let go of her betrayal, if he will be ever able to truly, truly forgive her, because I think that sometimes people say that they have forgiven someone, but deep inside, like the wound, it's still there and they keep thinking about it and it's basically haunting them. So that's not truly forgiving. That's saying that you do, but you're swallowing the hurt. And that sometimes leads to failure because you are really not getting rid of the feelings that are making you feel like that. You are only like hiding them inside you and pretending that you don't have them anymore. So I do think that in the long run he needs to think that if he will be able to do that. So for her, what I would suggest is that she really needs to take a look at her life right now and say, am I able to give the 90% in this relationship right now? Because obviously she has proved that she is not capable of. She is not capable of giving like that percentage that he's not being able to give at that time, because that happens a lot in love. You know, like a lot of people just love to say that a relationship needs to be 50-50. And yes, of course, that's reasonable, but there's going to be times when your other half won't be able to give that 50-50, and you will need to give that percentage they are not being able to give, so the relationship can work. Like you do need to put yourself in their shoes and be like, this person needs my support right now. So in this case, the boyfriend needed her support. Like he was doing two things at the same time. He was barely having any time to himself, let alone to be with her. And obviously, she's in her right to say, you are barely here with me. I feel too alone. I'm not liking this new life, and this relationship is not for me. She can say that. But if she's deciding to stay with him, then she does need to compromise, that she will give, what he's not being able to give her, and understand that it's not that he doesn't love her, it's not that he doesn't want to be there with her, but he's too busy. He wants to be with her, and she just needs to trust that and clutch into that and show him, that she is willing to do what it takes for him to finally, truly forgive her. And how can she do that? Well, she needs to grow closer to him. Like that hour that he has with her every single day, that hour needs to be precious. Like let's have dinner inside, let's watch a movie, an episode of a series that we both like, and start bonding again. And so I think that if these two wants to make it work, that would be my suggestion. But it will take a lot of work from both parts to reach that agreement.